Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa Buddhang saranang gacchami Dhammang saranang gacchami Sanghang saranang gacchami. My dear friends, very, very good evening. And it is my great pleasure to be with you this evening here. And today is very, very special day. Have you seen the moon? What is happening with the moon today? It is a full moon. But not just an ordinary full moon, but on this full moon day, the Buddha was born. And on this full moon day, at the age of 35, he became enlightened Buddha. And on this very full moon day of May, he passed away at the age of 80. All the three great events of Buddha's life took place on this full moon day of May. So it is a very, very important day for Buddhists and also for others, because it was on this day that the light of peace and happiness was born and the message started spreading. So I am here with you all this day. We had a lot of celebrations already, whole day back in India, or almost whole of Asia and Europe and everywhere, even in the United Nations organizations. They also make it an official ceremony to celebrate the Buddha's birthday, only because Lord Buddha represents, is the symbol of peace, harmony and happiness. Throughout the history of 2,600 years now, in the name of the Buddha, there was not one fight or war or a bloodshed. Nothing has happened, because the Buddha was very much for peace and harmony and living a happy life for everybody, irrespective of their backgrounds, of what religion they belong to, or what country or race or language. No distinction of any kind, because according to Buddha, the potentiality to become enlightened is there in all living beings. What to talk of human beings, all beings have got that potentiality, and certainly all human beings have even more advantage with better intellect and possibilities to develop wisdom. So that being so, we are in a really good position if we develop positive qualities of our mind. So that is why the harmony and the peace that the Buddha taught is quite practical and practiced by many people. Dear friends, today evening I am told to speak on happiness here and now. And I heard from somebody that this subject is being now pondered upon and discussed more and more. And I'm so very happy to be here in this positive living center. What a wonderful name you have got. And that shows a very positive attitude towards life, and that is what it should be. Happiness is the basic wish or basic need that all human beings, not only human beings, all beings seek. And everything that we do is for the sake of happiness. Whatever we do, whatever we create, is for the sake of happiness. If we have built this house, we want some comfort. If we wear clothes, we want some comfort. If we have car, comfort. Comfort means some amount of happiness. So let me tell you the very first words of the Buddha that is explained in a book called Dhammapada. And this book, the Dhammapada, is like Bible for you, or Quran, very important book, a very practical guide for living. And there the Buddha says, the very first words he says, mind precedes everything. Mind goes first. Everything is mind-made. If you act or speak with a polluted mind, a negative mind, then suffering will follow you like the wheel of a cart. When the horse or bullock, they are dragging the cart, wheel is following the animals. Just like that, suffering will follow you. On the contrary, if you act or speak based on positive mind, wholesome mind, good mind, then happiness will follow you. Happiness will follow you just like your never departing shadow. The shadow is there with you all the time. So happiness will be with you all the time. Why? Because of your actions. Based on good mind. Everything begins in the mind. So this we have to pay attention. Mind is a mine. You know, mine like gold mine, where you can dig out and take out things. So mind is mine. Mine for all beautiful positive things and also for negative things. Now it is up to us what we want to dig up and harvest from there. Lord Buddha gave importance to mind because it precedes everything. It goes first for everything. Then we act, we start thinking, we start speaking, we start acting. We are doing three kinds of actions. Bodily action, that is whatever physically we do. Verbal action, whatever we speak. And mental action, whatever we think. Now, these actions constitute our life. There is no active life if you remove these actions. Can you imagine a life without the actions? Is there any one moment when you are not doing actions? Two possibilities. One is when we are in deep sleep, when we are not even seeing any dreams. That is the moment we are not doing actions. But then we are totally lost. We are not awake. And the other one is when we are dead. Rest of the time, we are doing actions, actions, actions. And they all spring from our mind. Now this is the reality of our life. The series of actions make our life. Just watch yourself and you will come to know it is like that. If not verbal and physical, mentally we are active. So happiness, if we want happiness, then we have to pay attention to these actions. Because these actions have the power to produce happiness or the power to produce suffering. And among these actions, especially intentional actions, are very important. You know, intentional action means intentionally you do something. Sometimes we do some unintentional actions. For example, you are walking on a street and you step on an insect. It may die. Or you may kick by accident your own loving cat. But there is no intention. But it has happened. Those actions, unintentional actions, are different. But intentional action, when we do, they have what we call potential power to produce result, happiness or suffering. If that intention is associated with wholesome qualities, say generosity or loving kindness or compassion or wisdom.
Powering off.
Then what happens? That intention is now powered with these positive qualities. And when you do some action with that kind of intention, surely it produces happiness. But if an intention is rooted, if it is rooted in unwholesome qualities, three of them, very basic: greed, hatred, ignorance. Greed means wanting and attachment and craving and holding, all that thing. Hatred is disliking, hating, anger, jealousy, fear, and all these things. Ignorance is not knowing things correctly or knowing things wrongly. That is ignorance. Now, if any intention is dependent on these negative roots, we call them roots or the foundations, then that action turns into a negative action, negative thought, negative speech, negative bodily action. Now that intentional action has immense power to create problem, to create suffering, now, here and now, and in future. When a thought of greed arises in your mind, Are you really a satisfied person at that time? A happy person at that time? You can't be. The very fact that the greed is coming, it says, I'm not happy with this, I'm not satisfied with this, I want more. So dissatisfaction, unhappiness is there. That's why that greed, that is what greed is bringing. It is creating. So also hatred. When you have hatred, when you are disliking, that means you are not a happy person at that moment. So when these negativities arise in the mind, at that very moment, they destroy our happiness, our peace of mind. And then they make us to act in a negative way. And when we act, then we create a potential power, a potency which yields result, which gives result. It is like we have sown a seed. If we put a seed of a wheat will come. If we put a seed of apple tree, apple will come. It all depends on the quality of the seed or the what kind of seed. So when we put this negative seed, what else can it come? When nothing but suffering, isn't it? So this is called the law of cause and effect. Now this is a law, universal law. You call it by any name. Universal law, or if you are calling it by God or this or that, names don't matter. But this is the law of cause and effect. You act in a negative way and expect result in a positive way. That doesn't happen. We, with our ignorance, we may think that wrong actions can bring happiness. That is what many people think. Killing is good, they think. But that doesn't work like that. Hating is good, they think, but it doesn't work like that. It is a law. It will bring today or tomorrow, surely the result will come. It is law. At least here and now, we can see what will happen in future, forget. Here and now we can see the consequence. When we have negative things in our mind, we have lost our happiness here and now. And when we have positive things, we can experience happiness here and now. You develop love and compassion, you can enjoy here and now. Having said this about the nature of the mind, now, before going to some practical details, let us look into our own mind. That means few minutes shall we meditate? Meditation. That is how we practice to develop compassion and love and break the barriers between me and you and they and all these things. Life is so short. Days pass away so fast. And soon we are in the middle part of life or last part of life. Oh, days pass away so fast. And if we try to do good, there are so many opportunities to do good. And there is not enough time. And I don't know how people find time to do bad things. There's not enough time to do good things. Yeah? Yes. Now in our daily life, I was telling you about our actions, thought, speech and mind. And if we motivate these actions with this kind of loving kindness and compassion, then you will not like to do anything that is harmful to others. Before you harm others, you are bound to harm yourself. If you want to throw fire on somebody, it burns your hands first. Then only you can throw. If you want to throw dirt on somebody, it first soils your hand. So when you think negative about somebody, it has already polluted, it has soiled your mind. So isn't it wise that we don't fall into negative things? But the mind is crazy, very fast. Even before you know it, thoughts have just like uncontrolled running. So many thoughts will run in the mind. That is why we need mindfulness. That means you are fully with your mind. And you can be fully with your mind only here and now, in this moment. That's why we have some other mindfulness practices. I'm sure some of you or all of you must be practicing. For example, just watching the breath, a wonderful technique. Since birth we are breathing, but we have forgotten that we breathe. Breathing also means to live. You stop breathing, you stop living. So breathing, such a beautiful tool we have. We don't need to search things outside. We have with us. So take this breath, watch it. You can watch here at the nostrils, or you can watch here on your abdomen and chest. When you breathe in, it expands. Breathe out, it contracts. Rise and fall, rise and fall. Whole body is breathing. So wonderful experience. Every moment you are giving life. You are bringing life. Observing that, we understand life. Forgetting that, we forget life. As simple as that. We are scattered with our attention outside objects. And then mind is fragmented. And then we forget to live. So now mindfulness is important. Then you know what is happening in the mind. If you are here and now in this moment, or you are lost in the past, or lost in the future, we have to think about the past, know about the past, or get lessons from the past. There is nothing wrong to remember the past. But with mindfulness, that now I am doing that. So you are here, your mindfulness is here. Though the object of the mind is past, you are here. Or object of the mind may be future. You may be thinking about your future plans. We have to do plans. But then be mindful. Now I am going to think about the future. What I will do tomorrow. Be mindful. Yes, I am now thinking about this morning, afternoon. You are planning. In between, if negative thought comes, then you will be able to catch it because you are mindful. And then change it to positive one. Plan tomorrow with this positive one. So you are here and now, and you are planning about the next day. It is fine because you are here and now. So to be here and now is a practice. It doesn't come on its own. Why, you know? We have practiced something else. And that something else is to be not here, not in the present. That we are habituated. We have habituated our mind to be lost. You can't blame anybody else. It's your own choice. Each one of us have done that. So mind is very happy in being scattered. So now with mindfulness practice, give some time to this mindfulness practice. We give time to study, for example, medicine. We give time to study business, years and years, and then do business. Or we give time to study engineering, years and years. So much of time we give to become a professional or to learn some things. Give some time to learn to become a mindful person, to be here and now. Sit for a few minutes, anywhere, convenient to you, and watch this breath. Watch this breath, just you are breathing. And then there are sensations coming in between. Some pains, some pleasures, some vibration, some heat or cold, or some headache, or this ache or that ache, or something or the other you will feel. Okay, come to the present. Watch it as it is, without reacting. Don't say, oh, I'm feeling so hot, I don't like this, I want cold, I want this, I want that. No. Just look at it, observe it. Okay, this is hot summer or whatever it is I'm experiencing. Hot. This is this, that's all. The reality of this moment is this experience. When you start observing as it is, oh, you will find wonderful things coming out of that very experience, that very unpleasant experience. You will start understanding many beautiful things, and then you will start feeling joy. Joy, the real joy, comes when you are with reality. Okay? So be with yourself. They are very simple techniques. These are not complicated, big philosophies and imaginations and concepts to be read in fat books. No. Here you experience pain. This is pain, that's all. As it is, you observe objectively. Don't react. Don't say, I don't like. Or if you are observing some lightness and some relaxation, so pleasant feeling, just observe. Don't say, I like this, it should remain for a long time. Don't have greed for that. Just observe. Just observing, wonderful insights will come. So beautiful understanding of the nature of this body, of this mind will start coming out here and now. And they bring such great freedom because you are free in that moment from greed. You would have reacted with greed, dissatisfaction, or hatred, dissatisfaction. Now you have removed them from very fundamental, root level. And that is freedom. That brings joy. This is not simple joy. It is your own joy based on reality, not in the conceptual world, not in Disneyland. I went there to Disneyland. So many imaginary things going on. That is fun. Okay, that is also fun. Nothing wrong in having fun. Again, being present there. We should know the difference between pleasure and happiness. These are two very distinct things, components. We run after pleasures thinking that they are happiness. We mix up things. And pleasure comes from sense objects. There is a beautiful thing and it is pleasurable to see. Beautiful sound, smell, taste, touch, or even beautiful thoughts. So these are pleasures, nothing wrong in that. When you have them, yes, but these are pleasurable experiences. Understand that. Which are also changeable. They come and go, come and go. Understand that reality. There is nothing wrong. But don't think that they are happiness. Happiness is not based on sense objects. Happiness is free from that. Happiness is state of mind. Whether you have very tasty food or not, your mind can remain happy. Maybe a very bitter thing you are eating, but you are eating with gratitude to those who have cooked or brought the thing or anything, with thanks to everybody, to the nature. Mind is happy. Maybe taste is not tasty. Or maybe there is pain in your leg or in your back. Maybe you are sitting on a very crude, rough chair, which is uncomfortable, not so comfortable like this. Maybe it is hurting, but in the mind, you are grateful and thankful to be here. So you are joyful and happy. So the mind can remain happy irrespective of what the senses are experiencing. Maybe there is pain in your stomach, maybe very grueling pain, but still, mind can be calm and happy. Yes, observing, I am accepting. You might have seen some cancer patients or this patient or that patient. They are so peaceful and quite calm, even though there are a lot of pains going on. My teacher, Honorable Acharya Buddharakita, who founded our monastery, he was sick in his last days. And I used to ask him, how are you, teacher? Are you okay? He used to say, I am perfectly fine. And from head to feet, nothing was fine. Everything was a problem. But he used to smile and say, I am perfectly fine. Though there is pain everywhere, mind was happy. So this distinction between pleasure and happiness, if we are clear and don't mix up, then we can manage our life very smoothly. When there is pleasure, yes, it is pleasure, be happy with that, knowing that it will pass away. And when it passes away, don't be upset. If you know it, it passes away, okay, you are happy. It came, I was happy. It went, I am happy. Displeasure, pains may come. Again, you have this understanding. It comes and it goes. It has come, okay, I happily look at it as it is. When it has gone, gone. Bye-bye, I am happy for that also. So pleasures or pains, they come and go, but our happiness can continue. Now this is an art of managing things. Just like business management, happiness management. This is an art of happiness management. We have to learn, go through this course, and that course is you sit down, meditate, and develop this mindfulness so that you are able to be here and now, observe things in the correct perspective. Then there is no problem. What we call problems are no problem. They are just situations coming and going. And then we can learn from every situation. Pleasant situations, unpleasant situations, fine. Pleasant people, unpleasant people, fine. We can learn. Then we learn to forgive. Forgive. It doesn't mean that we just keep on accepting wrong things and just we move. No. Tell them, no, this is wrong. This is how it should be. Try to convince with loving kindness, not with hatred. If you start hating, then you are already half lost. You are in the position of losing. Hatred is weakness of the mind. Hatred will always bring one more hatred. If the house is on fire, it needs cool water, not some more fire and petrol. No, it needs water. So when things are going wrong, you need more compassion, more love. But be firm. Compassion and love they don't mean that you have to be weak in the heart. No. They can be very tough. Like mother's love. The Buddha gives the example of a mother. If the baby has swollen something, a wooden piece or some stone or something, whatever, and it is stuck here in the throat. Now what will mother do? She will put her finger and take it out. And while doing so, it may hurt the child. But this is done out of love, not out of anger and hatred. Though that hurt, that pain was caused, it is out of love. And that action was the right one to save the child. So in life, we have to take some tough decisions, tough actions. But the motivation should be love and compassion. So be careful about that. If it is hateful, hate-rooted, greed-rooted, arrogance-rooted, if it is just an ego play, competition, then be away from that. But if it is based on love, compassion and wisdom and correctness and good for all, then go ahead. That again needs to be here and now. Mindfulness practice is so important. Then many times our views, they create problems. Wrong views. Somebody would say, yes, just kill that fellow. That is the solution. No, that will not be the solution. If you kill one fellow, 10 will crop up. And you have to find solution that they don't crop up. Hatred is never a solution. The whole history has shown us. And we have also seen in the history, in modern times, how the people with positive approach have been able to do many miracles. In your country, a wonderful country, I should say, a very wonderful country, people with some very high values of humanity, human rights, call it any kinds of different rights and freedom and respect for all these things, surely have brought great results, which in many countries we don't see. And that result is not a simple one. That is an example that here we have seen enough of hatred and bloodshed and fighting, what that has brought, and here is another approach, what that has brought. Positive approach. We have seen both. So this is a great example to the world. And that is what everybody is looking for. So don't underestimate the goodness that you have. Individually it helps, collectively it helps. So views, we have to be correct with our views and judgments. And then to be here and now, peaceful and happy, you need to understand the reality that everything changes. Everything changes and we have to let go. We are here, we change. We become old, we die. We become sick. Healthy people become sick. Changing. Change is the nature of our life, of the world, of the universe. This we have to accept. Then we can let go of things, let go. So these are some of the things that we can practice in day-to-day life. Now I would like to welcome some questions that may be more practical. Otherwise I am going here somewhere. Maybe you have something in your mind. Yes.
I don't have a question, but the things that you said tonight are such beautiful reminders, and how easily it is to get off the track. And I want to thank you for that.
You are welcome. That is mindfulness.
I'm happy.
We deserve to be happy. Yes, madam.
For many years, I practiced zazen at Green Gulch Farm in Tasahara, and it was fine sitting still. But I've moved here to the mountains, which I'm very fortunate to be here. But I find myself getting more and more restless, especially if I start to sit, and more shaky, and more I want to just get up and go out, and I try and observe it, as you said, and I'm still like that. Do you have any suggestions?
Now, this is not very unusual. It's a matter of degrees. Everybody has that. Maybe you get restless quickly. Now you do one thing. When you do zazen, you do meditate on breath. You watch the breath, right? Mm-hmm. And when you are observing breath, then restlessness comes in the mind. And now observe that restlessness. This is restlessness. This is restlessness. This is restlessness. Just watch it as it is, as it is. you will see that it starts dissolving. Sometimes it may happen because of circumstances in daily life. It may increase. Then you watch, it is increasing. It is increasing, but this is restlessness. But very soon you will see it will start dissolving. And when it has become weaker, then you can come back to your breath. Or else, you can also watch the sensations. You can try that also. Okay, this is restlessness. So what am I feeling here in my chest, in my abdomen? Just try to watch this part. Just watch part by part, part by part. Just feel it. Don't do anything. Don't expect anything to happen. Just feel it. This is this. I'm feeling this. I'm feeling this. I'm feeling it. As you look at it, that restlessness will go away. Or for that matter, anger or anything, whatever has cropped up will go away. Because these mental states create these sensations. So when you watch the mental states directly, or you watch the sensations, you are watching one and the same. So then watching itself is a very powerful mental state. Mindfulness, and you are watching and not reacting with like or dislike, just you are watching objectively. That's a positive power of the mind. And when you have a positive state of mind for some time, the negatives have to go away. Just like you bring light in this room, darkness has to go away. It will work out. You just try out. Either watching the mind directly or watching the sensations. Just watch. It will help.
You said everyone deserves to be happy. Why?
You see, everyone is seeking happiness. Okay? And there is nothing wrong to be happy. There was, in Los Angeles, somebody asked me, why I should be happy? I don't want to be happy. Then I said, well, that is your choice. If you don't want to be happy, who is bothered about you? You suffer. Do you really want to suffer? So, that is our choice. And we deserve to be happy because as human beings, we can do many good things. We can bring happiness in ourselves and others. So why not use that opportunity? Isn't it? And some people who are in sickness, some problems and this and that, some people think, oh, am I destined to be suffering all the time? Am I destined to be in loss, losing money, losing people, losing health, all these things? No. Nobody is destined to be suffering. Nobody is destined to be happy. It is our choice how we create and make our life. Even if the circumstances have brought us a lot of suffering, there is a possibility that we can change. Football, and you have seen the players, how they kick very strongly. That ball is going towards the goal. It doesn't mean that it has to go there. There are so many other possibilities in between. You can change the direction of the ball to the left, to the right, or you can stop it, or you can turn it to the other directions. That possibility is there in our lives, and that is possible in this moment. So we can change the circumstances. You have to be patient. patience is very, very important quality, because things don't happen all the time according to our wish. So we have to be patient. Sometimes time itself is a healer. We have to give time. Sometimes your actions have to change. Sometimes you have to remain and wait. Others will change. These things, according to situations, we have to move. So when you are facing difficulties, maybe somebody is sick, maybe somebody has died, or maybe some partner has broke away. Anything can happen. But these are all life situations which come to go. That is the reality. Wait for some time. Everything comes to go, impermanence. So understand this nature of life, impermanence, and causes and conditions. Things happen because of causes and conditions, not always according to our wish.
Sometimes you spoke of patience, and sometimes I feel impatience with other people in my life. And when do you know when it's the proper time to reach in and grab the stone from their throat, or to just let them experience trying to swallow the stone?
You see, patience has no limit. There is no alternative. Sometimes we have to be patient to the hilt. And patience yields results. Because when you lose patience, then you lose the balance of mind. When you lose the balance of mind, things can go worse. Again, patience doesn't mean that somebody is troubling you and you have to keep on suffering. No, that is not patience. That's not wise thing to do. When you allow somebody to suffer, that is not wise thing. Whether it's yourself, making yourself to suffer, that is not wise thing. Try to stop with different methods without hatred in your heart. Take actions. Take actions. Act, but don't react. Action is a positive approach. Reaction is the negative approach. So with that kind of approach, practice patience, 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 patience. Till death, what more?